Have you ever wondered what it would take to change the course of an entire empire? Stay tuned, because today, we're diving into a gripping tale of pride, prophecy, and redemption that shaped the fate of ancient Babylon, and it holds lessons for us today. If stories of ambition, divine intervention, and human transformation fascinate you, make sure to stick around till the end for an unexpected twist that ties it all together. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to join our journey of unraveling history's greatest mysteries. And, hey, tell us in the comments, what's the most captivating historical story you've ever heard? Let's jump in. In the ancient city of Babylon, under the scorching sun of the Middle Eastern desert, the king Nebuchadnezzar sat upon his grand throne, adorned with gold and precious stones. The air was thick with the scent of incense as nobles and priests gathered to witness the king's latest decree. Nebuchadnezzar, a ruler of immense power and ambition, had long sought signs and omens to guide his reign. One night, troubled by dreams of towering trees and falling empires, he summoned his most trusted advisor, the prophet Daniel. The city's towering ziggurats and bustling marketplaces provided a backdrop to the unfolding drama, where divine messages and human ambition intertwined. As Nebuchadnezzar recounted his dreams, Daniel listened intently, sensing the gravity of the prophecy that would alter the fate of empires. The room, illuminated by flickering torches, seemed to hold its breath as Daniel prepared to reveal the hidden meanings within the king's visions. The tension between earthly power and divine will set the stage for a tale of prophecy, downfall, and the rise of forces beyond human comprehension. Daniel began to interpret Nebuchadnezzar's dreams, his voice steady and authoritative. He spoke of a great tree that reached the heavens, its branches providing shelter and sustenance to all living creatures. However, a decree would be issued to cut it down, leaving only the stump bound by iron and bronze for a period of 7 times. The room fell silent as the weight of the prophecy settled upon the king. Nebuchadnezzar, initially skeptical, felt a chill run down his spine. Daniel explained that the tree symbolized the king himself, whose pride and ambition would lead to his downfall. For 7 years, Nebuchadnezzar would lose his sanity, living like an animal, until he acknowledged the sovereignty of a higher power. The narrative of pride and humility echoed through the chamber, foreshadowing the inevitable clash between human arrogance and divine decree. As the prophet's words resonated, the citizens of Babylon began to whisper among themselves, sensing that the fate of their empire hung in the balance. The seeds of destiny were sown, intertwining the lives of the ruler and his people with the threads of prophecy. Months passed, and Nebuchadnezzar's empire flourished under his reign. Trade routes expanded, temples were built, and the city's grandeur reached new heights. Yet, the king's heart grew heavy with pride, his confidence unshaken by Daniel's prophecy. The people of Babylon thrived, unaware of the impending doom that loomed over their leader. One fateful night, as the full moon cast eerie shadows across the palace, Nebuchadnezzar was struck by madness. His royal robes were discarded, replaced by the simple garments of a commoner. The mighty king roamed the streets, his once commanding presence reduced to that of a lost soul. The city watched in disbelief as their ruler transformed before their eyes. Temples that once echoed with prayers now stood silent, reflecting the chaos within the empire. The prophecy had begun to unfold, bringing with it a period of turmoil and reflection. As Nebuchadnezzar wandered, the people grappled with the duality of their beloved king's fall and the survival of their civilization. The balance between human ambition and divine will was now visibly disrupted, setting the stage for a transformation that would echo through history. As Nebuchadnezzar lived among his people in his altered state, the empire began to crumble. Governance faltered, and neighboring nations seized the opportunity to encroach upon Babylonian territories. The once unified empire found itself divided, with provinces declaring autonomy in the absence of strong leadership. The priests and nobles, previously loyal to the king, struggled to maintain order amidst the growing unrest. Daniel, burdened by the fulfillment of his prophecy, sought solace in prayer, questioning the balance between fate and free will. The people, witnessing the decline of their civilization, turned to various deities for protection, their faith fragmented by the king's downfall. In the midst of this turmoil, whispers of a new power began to circulate, a leader who would rise from the ashes of Babylon, destined to restore its former glory. This emerging figure, shrouded in mystery, was believed to embody both the remnants of the old empire and the promise of a renewed future. The stage was set for a transformation that would redefine the world's balance, intertwining destiny with human ambition once more. In the heart of the divided empire, a young and ambitious leader named Helmoth emerged. Born into a noble family, Helmoth had witnessed the rise and fall of Babylon firsthand. His intellect and charisma quickly set him apart, drawing followers who believed he could restore the empire's lost glory. Helmoth's vision extended beyond mere restoration. He aspired to create a new Babylon, one that would blend the ancient traditions with innovative governance. His speeches, filled with hope and determination, resonated with a populace yearning for stability and prosperity. As Helmoth's influence grew, he began to implement reforms aimed at uniting the fragmented regions. Infrastructure projects rebuilt roads and trade routes, fostering economic growth and connectivity. He established councils that included representatives from various provinces, ensuring that governance was more inclusive and responsive to the people's needs. However, beneath his benevolent facade, Helmoth harbored a deep-seated ambition to wield absolute power. His strategic alliances and calculated moves hinted at a desire to centralize authority, raising concerns among those who valued the newfound autonomy. The delicate balance between his genuine efforts to unify and his underlying quest for dominance created a complex dynamic, setting the stage for a power struggle that would shape the future of the empire. Helmoth's rise was meteoric, and his ability to navigate the complexities of the fractured empire earned him widespread admiration. Under his leadership, the new Babylon experienced unprecedented growth. Markets thrived, arts flourished, and technological advancements were embraced, positioning the empire as a beacon of progress and prosperity. Helmoth's vision of a unified empire began to materialize, as former rival provinces collaborated on ambitious projects that spanned the vast territories. Educational institutions were established, fostering a new generation of thinkers and leaders who would sustain the empire's renaissance. Helmoth's policies promoted meritocracy, encouraging individuals from all backgrounds to contribute to society based on their abilities and talents. This inclusive approach not only strengthened the empire's economy but also fostered a sense of collective purpose among its citizens. However, as the new Babylon prospered, Helmoth's influence extended beyond governance. He began to position himself as a near-divine figure, drawing parallels between his leadership and the ancient prophets who once guided the empire. Public ceremonies celebrated his achievements, and symbols of his authority became ubiquitous throughout the cities. While many hailed him as the savior of Babylon, others grew wary of his growing dominance and the potential for authoritarian rule. The seeds of both admiration and apprehension were sown, hinting at the dual nature of Helmoth's legacy. Despite the outward success, dissent began to simmer beneath the surface of the new Babylon. A faction of nobles and priests, wary of Helmoth's centralizing power, formed an underground movement seeking to challenge his authority. They feared that Helmoth's increasing control over governance, the military, and the religious institutions could lead to tyranny reminiscent of past despots. This group, known as the Keepers of Tradition, advocated for a return to the old ways, emphasizing the preservation of Babylonian heritage and the decentralization of power. Their secret meetings were held in the shadowed corners of temples and secluded gardens, where strategies were devised to counter Helmoth's influence. The tension between progress and tradition created a volatile environment, with both sides believing firmly in their vision for the empire's future. Helmoth, aware of the growing unrest, sought to quell the opposition through a combination of diplomacy and assertive measures. He extended olive branches to former rivals, incorporating some of their leaders into his councils to foster unity. Simultaneously, he strengthened the empire's defenses, wary of potential uprisings that could threaten the hard-earned stability. The delicate dance between consolidation and concession highlighted the fragile nature of Helmuth's reign, where the pursuit of a unified empire often clashed with the deep-rooted desires for autonomy and heritage. As Helmuth's power solidified, he initiated grand projects aimed at integrating the diverse cultures within the empire. Architectural marvels, blending Babylonian artistry with innovations from conquered lands, began to dot the landscape. The construction of the Great Library, a repository of knowledge and wisdom, symbolized the empire's commitment to enlightenment and progress. Scholars from various backgrounds were invited to contribute, fostering an environment of intellectual exchange and collaboration. Helmuth believed that the unification of knowledge would strengthen the empire's foundations, making it resilient against future challenges. The Great Library became a beacon of learning, attracting thinkers, philosophers, and artists who sought to expand the horizons of human understanding. Under Helmuth's patronage, the arts flourished, with grand theaters and amphitheaters hosting performances that celebrated both tradition and innovation. Music, poetry, and visual arts thrived, reflecting the rich tapestry of the unified empire. However, this cultural renaissance also served Helmuth's broader ambitions. By positioning himself as the patron of the arts and knowledge, he further ingrained his influence into the very fabric of society. The library, while a symbol of enlightenment, also became a tool for disseminating his ideologies, subtly shaping public perception and reinforcing his authority. The dual nature of these grand projects highlighted Helmuth's intricate balancing act between fostering genuine progress and consolidating power. Years of prosperity under Helmuth's rule led to a golden age for the New Babylon. The empire became a hub of trade, culture, and innovation, attracting merchants and scholars from distant lands. The Great Library's vast collections were accessible to all, promoting education and intellectual growth among the populace. Helmuth's policies encouraged scientific exploration, leading to advancements in astronomy, medicine, and engineering. The empire's infrastructure, once fractured, now stood as a testament to unity and progress. Grand roads facilitated trade and communication, while aqueducts and irrigation systems ensured the flourishing of agriculture. The arts reached new heights, with masterpieces that blended the old and the new, reflecting the diverse influences within the empire. Festivals celebrating the empire's achievements became grand spectacles, fostering a sense of pride and belonging among the citizens. Helmuth's leadership was lauded as visionary, and his image was immortalized in statues and murals across the cities. However, beneath the veneer of success, subtle cracks began to appear. The keepers of tradition, though diminished in numbers, continued their resistance, wary of Helmuth's unchecked authority. Their actions, though covert, sowed seeds of doubt and discontent, hinting at the fragile underpinnings of the empire's golden facade. The balance between outward prosperity and internal discord created a complex dynamic, where the empire's brilliance was shadowed by the growing unease among its people. As the years passed, Helmuth's influence extended beyond the boundaries of the empire. He established diplomatic relations with neighboring kingdoms, forging alliances that strengthened Babylon's position on the global stage. These alliances facilitated cultural exchanges and mutual advancements, further enhancing the empire's prestige and power. Helmuth's vision of a unified world, where knowledge and prosperity were shared freely, began to take shape. Trade agreements brought exotic goods and ideas, enriching the cultural tapestry of Babylon. The empire's military, once focused solely on defense, now played a pivotal role in maintaining the delicate balance of power in the region. Helmuth promoted a doctrine of strategic alliances and diplomatic negotiations, avoiding conflicts that could destabilize the peace he had worked so hard to establish. However, the expanding influence also brought new challenges. Rival factions within allied kingdoms sought to undermine Helmuth's authority, fearing the rise of a hegemonic power. Espionage and political maneuvering became common. As Helmuth navigated the intricate web of international relations, the pressures of maintaining such extensive alliances tested his leadership and resolve. The keepers of tradition, sensing an opportunity in the empire's outward success, intensified their efforts to disrupt Helmuth's plans. Their actions, though discreet, began to reveal vulnerabilities in the empire's otherwise robust structure. The interplay of diplomacy, ambition, and resistance added layers of complexity to the narrative of the New Babylon, where every triumph was accompanied by new threats and uncertainties. Amidst the empire's thriving expansion, a mysterious figure emerged from the shadows, an enigmatic leader who called himself the Prophet of Light. His arrival coincided with a series of unexplained phenomena, celestial alignments, natural disasters, and visions that captivated the populace. The prophet's message was one of renewal and spiritual awakening, resonating deeply with those seeking meaning beyond material prosperity. His teachings emphasized a return to divine principles, advocating for moral integrity and communal harmony. Crowds flocked to his sermons, where he spoke of a higher purpose and the need to align the empire with celestial destinies. Helmuth, recognizing the potential influence of this new movement, sought to understand and integrate the prophet's message into his own vision. He saw the prophet as a means to further unify the diverse beliefs within the empire, presenting it as a harmonious blend of tradition and enlightenment. However, not all were convinced by Helmuth's intentions. The keepers of tradition viewed the prophet with suspicion, fearing that his spiritual influence could undermine their covert efforts to challenge Helmuth's authority. As the prophet's following grew, so did the tension between the established power structures and this emerging spiritual movement. The delicate balance between embracing new spiritual insights and maintaining political control became a focal point. With the future of the empire hanging in the balance, the interplay of faith, power, and resistance added a profound layer to the unfolding saga of the New Babylon. The Prophet of Light's influence extended beyond spiritual realms, as his followers began to advocate for societal reforms inspired by his teachings. They promoted education, ethical governance, and the equitable distribution of resources, aligning closely with Helmuth's own policies. This convergence created an alliance between the prophet and the emperor, seemingly reinforcing the empire's foundation on both spiritual and practical principles. Helmuth publicly endorsed the prophet, presenting their partnership as a divine mandate for the empire's continued prosperity. Together, they spearheaded initiatives aimed at eliminating corruption, enhancing public welfare, and fostering a culture of integrity and compassion. The synergy between their visions bolstered public support, as citizens felt a deeper connection to the empire's leadership. However, beneath the surface, tensions simmered. The keepers of tradition viewed the alliance with skepticism, perceiving it as a strategic maneuver by Helmuth to consolidate power under the guise of spiritual unity. They feared that the prophet's growing influence could overshadow traditional values and erode the old guard's covert resistance efforts. As the prophet's teachings permeated various facets of society, subtle shifts in power dynamics became evident. Helmuth's authority appeared unassailable, strengthened by the spiritual endorsement of the prophet. Yet, the underlying currents of dissent hinted at the empire's vulnerability, where unity masked the potential for internal conflict. The delicate interplay between spiritual enlightenment and political dominance continued to shape the destiny of the New Babylon, where every step towards progress was intertwined with the shadows of resistance. As the alliance between Helmuth and the Prophet of Light solidified, the empire seemed invincible. Their combined leadership fostered an era of unprecedented peace and prosperity, drawing admiration from neighboring kingdoms. Diplomatic missions flourished, and the New Babylon became a center for international diplomacy and cultural exchange. Helmuth's vision of a unified and enlightened empire resonated across borders, establishing Babylon as a global power. The Great Library expanded its collections with contributions from allied nations, becoming a symbol of collective knowledge and wisdom. Scholars from distant lands traveled to Babylon, eager to partake in the intellectual and cultural renaissance. The empire's influence reached far and wide, shaping regional policies and fostering alliances that transcended traditional boundaries. However, the keepers of tradition continued their clandestine operations, seeking to exploit any signs of weakness within the seemingly unassailable empire. They covertly spread dissent, capitalizing on minor grievances and perceived inconsistencies in Helmutha's rule. Their efforts were subtle, often masked by the empire's outward success, making it difficult to trace the roots of their rebellion. Meanwhile, the Prophet of Light delved deeper into esoteric teachings, hinting at revelations that would further bind the populace to the empire's spiritual and political framework. The dual forces of enlightenment and covert resistance created a complex tapestry of power dynamics, where every act of progress was counterbalanced by the shadows of opposition. The empire stood at a crossroads, its destiny shaped by the delicate balance between unity and dissent. Here's a question to ponder. Do you think fate is preordained? Or can human actions rewrite the stars? Nebuchadnezzar believed his power was unshakable until prophecy proved otherwise. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Was the king's downfall inevitable? Or could he have changed his destiny? The empire's outward success masked the growing unrest seeded by the keepers of tradition. Their covert operations intensified, orchestrating events that would challenge Helmutha's rule without direct confrontation. Sabotage of public projects, dissemination of propaganda, and strategic alliances with disgruntled factions created an atmosphere of uncertainty. The keepers aimed to exploit the empire's expansionist policies, arguing that the rapid changes threatened the very essence of Babylonian heritage. Their message resonated with a segment of the population that felt alienated by the empire's modernization and spiritual shifts. As dissent grew, Helmuth found himself navigating a complex landscape of loyalty and rebellion. He implemented measures to counteract the keepers' influence, including increased surveillance and the promotion of loyalists within key institutions. However, these actions often backfired, alienating those who valued freedom and integrity. The delicate balance between maintaining order and fostering genuine progress became increasingly precarious. The Prophet of Light, sensing the undercurrents of discontent, called for greater unity and spiritual fortitude among the citizens. His sermons emphasized resilience and the divine right of the empire's leadership, reinforcing Helmutha's authority. Yet, the seeds of rebellion had already taken root, and the empire stood on the brink of a potential schism. The interplay of power, ideology, and resistance created a volatile environment, where the future of the new Babylon hung in the balance. Amidst the escalating tension, a celestial event captured the attention of the entire empire. Rare alignment of stars that the Prophet of Light proclaimed as a sign of divine favor. The night sky was ablaze with celestial light, casting an ethereal glow over the cities of Babylon. The prophet's sermons grew more fervent, interpreting the alignment as a confirmation of the empire's destined path towards ultimate unity and enlightenment. Citizens gathered in large congregations, gazing up at the heavens in awe and reverence. The celestial event was marked by grand celebrations, blending spiritual rituals with cultural festivities. Helmuth, recognizing the significance of the event, used it to further legitimize his rule and the prophet's teachings. He declared it a time of renewal and reaffirmed his commitment to the empire's prosperity and spiritual growth. The celestial alignment also served as a strategic tool, unifying the populace under a common celestial narrative that intertwined destiny with leadership. However, the keepers of tradition saw the event differently, viewing it as an opportunity to fuel their rebellion. They interpreted the alignment as a sign of impending change, rallying their followers with promises of restoring true Babylonian heritage. The dual interpretations of the celestial event highlighted the divergent paths within the empire, where one side saw it as divine endorsement and the other as a harbinger of upheaval. The night sky, adorned with celestial light, became a symbol of the empire's internal struggle between unity and resistance. The celestial alignment reached its zenith during the grand celebration, marking a pivotal moment in the empire's history. The sky was illuminated by a cascade of shooting stars, each one believed to carry a divine message. The Prophet of Light stood atop a grand stage, his voice resonating with passion as he delivered a sermon that would be remembered for generations. He spoke of the celestial event as a reaffirmation of the empire's divine mission, urging the citizens to embrace their role in shaping a harmonious and enlightened future. Helmuth, standing beside the prophet, addressed the crowd with unwavering confidence, reinforcing the message of unity and progress. The combined speeches galvanized the populace, strengthening their allegiance to the leadership and the prophetic vision. However, amidst the celebrations, the keepers of tradition orchestrated a clandestine plan to exploit the moment of unity. They believed that the celestial alignment was the perfect opportunity to stage a symbolic rebellion, aiming to challenge Helmutha's authority and restore traditional values. Under the cover of the festivities, they planned to disrupt the events, sowing chaos and doubt among the citizens. As the night unfolded, the empire held its breath, unaware of the brewing storm that threatened to unravel the threads of unity and prosperity. The juxtaposition of divine celebration and covert rebellion set the stage for a dramatic confrontation, where the fate of the New Babylon would be decided under the watchful gaze of the stars. As the celestial alignment continued, the keepers of tradition executed their plan with precision. Disguised as festival participants, they infiltrated the grand celebration, blending seamlessly with the crowd. Their objective was to create a spectacle that would challenge Helmutha's authority and ignite a spark of rebellion among the citizens. Utilizing the chaos of the festivities, they orchestrated a series of coordinated disruptions, symbolic acts that questioned the divine endorsement of Helmutha's rule. Flaming torches were ignited in strategic locations, and banners bearing traditional symbols were unfurled amidst the celebrations. These acts were designed to evoke nostalgia and a longing for the old Babylon, stirring emotions of discontent and resistance. The crowd, already overwhelmed by the celestial display, began to feel the tension between progress and tradition. Helmuth and the prophet of light, sensing the disturbance, swiftly moved to address the crowd, urging calm and reaffirming the divine mandate of their leadership. The confrontation between the established order and the traditionalist resistance played out under the watchful eyes of the heavens, turning the celebration into a battleground of ideologies. The empire teetered on the edge of unity and division, with the celestial alignment serving as both a symbol of divine favor and a catalyst for internal conflict. The events of that night would leave an indelible mark on the history of the New Babylon, shaping the trajectory of its destiny in profound ways. The night's turmoil reached its peak as Helmuth and the prophet of light confronted the keepers of tradition amidst the chaos. In a bid to quell the unrest, Helmuth addressed the crowd once more, his voice firm and authoritative. He denounced the actions of the keepers as acts of betrayal, emphasizing the divine mandate that united the empire under his and the prophet's leadership. The prophet echoed Helmutha's sentiments, urging the citizens to remain steadfast in their pursuit of enlightenment and unity. Their combined voices resonated through the tumultuous air, seeking to restore order and reaffirm the empire's path towards progress. Meanwhile, the keepers remained steadfast in their opposition, viewing their actions as a necessary stand to preserve the true essence of Babylonian heritage. The confrontation between the two factions became a focal point of the celebration, symbolizing the larger struggle between tradition and modernization. As the celestial alignment continued to cast its divine light, the empire was torn between embracing a unified future and clinging to its storied past. The outcome of this pivotal moment would determine the course of the New Babylon, as the forces of progress and resistance vied for dominance under the watchful gaze of the heavens. The aftermath of the confrontation left the empire deeply divided. The streets of Babylon, once unified in celebration, now echoed with whispers of dissent and uncertainty. Helmuth and the prophet of light intensified their efforts to restore harmony, initiating reconciliation efforts and reaffirming their commitment to the empire's prosperity and spiritual growth. Public forums were established to address the concerns of the citizens, allowing for dialogue and understanding between differing factions. Helmuth emphasized the importance of unity and progress, while the prophet of light called for spiritual resilience and collective strength. These initiatives aimed to bridge the gap between tradition and modernization, seeking to heal the wounds inflicted by the rebellion. However, the scars of division ran deep, and rebuilding trust proved to be a challenging endeavor. The keepers of tradition, though momentarily subdued, continued to nurture their resistance, waiting for an opportune moment to challenge the empire's leadership once more. The delicate process of reconciliation was marked by both successes and setbacks, as the empire grappled with the complexities of maintaining unity in the face of diverse beliefs and aspirations. The balance between embracing change and honoring heritage remained a central theme in the empire's journey, with Helmuth and the prophet striving to navigate the intricate dynamics of power, faith, and societal cohesion. Despite the ongoing efforts to mend the empire's divisions, the undercurrents of dissent remained resilient. The keepers of tradition, undeterred by their previous setbacks, continued to organize and mobilize their followers. They capitalized on moments of discontent and perceived injustices, slowly rebuilding their influence within the shadows of Babylon. Their strategy shifted from overt rebellion to subtle subversion. Aiming to undermine Helmuth's authority without direct confrontation, they infiltrated key institutions, placing loyalists in positions of power to sway decisions and policies in favor of traditional values. This covert approach allowed them to exert influence without drawing immediate suspicion, creating a pervasive sense of uncertainty within the empire's leadership. Helmuth, ever vigilant, implemented measures to counteract the infiltration, strengthening security protocols and promoting transparency within governance. However, the effectiveness of these measures was limited, as the keepers adeptly adapted to the changing dynamics, finding new avenues to advance their agenda. The empire found itself in a constant state of flux, where the balance between unity and division was perpetually tested. The ongoing struggle between the forces of progress and the guardians of tradition continued to shape the socio-political landscape, with the future of the new Babylon hanging precariously in the balance. Amidst the empire's internal struggles, a new prophecy emerged from the depths of the Great Library, discovered by a young scholar named Miriam. The prophecy foretold the rise of a figure who would bring both salvation and destruction to the empire. The texts, written in ancient script, spoke of a beast who would wield immense power and lead the empire into an era of unparalleled dominance. Intrigued and alarmed by the prophecy, Miriam sought the counsel of the prophet of light, who interpreted the beast as a manifestation of unchecked ambition and spiritual corruption. The prophet warned that the emergence of such a figure could lead to the empire's downfall, emphasizing the need for vigilance and moral integrity to prevent the fulfillment of the prophecy. Helmuth, upon learning of the prophecy, dismissed it as a mere legend, focusing instead on the tangible challenges facing the empire. However, the ominous nature of the prophecy lingered in the minds of those who believed in its truth, fueling both fear and curiosity. The keepers of tradition, viewing the prophecy as a validation of their resistance, used it to further rally their supporters, claiming that Helmuth's reign was a precursor to the foretold beast. The dual interpretations of the prophecy deepened the empire's divisions, as different factions aligned themselves based on their understanding of the ancient texts. The prophecy became a symbol of the empire's internal conflict, representing the ongoing battle between progress and tradition, and the looming threat of an unforeseen force that could alter the course of history. The prophecy quickly became a focal point of debate and speculation within the empire. Scholars, leaders, and common citizens alike pondered the meaning and implications of the foretold beast. The Great Library organized symposiums and public forums to discuss the prophecy, inviting theologians, historians, and philosophers to provide their interpretations. These gatherings fostered a vibrant intellectual discourse, as various perspectives emerged on the nature of the beast and its potential impact on the empire. Some viewed the beast as a literal figure destined to rise to power, while others interpreted it metaphorically, representing the dangers of unchecked ambition and moral decay. The prophet of light reiterated his earlier warnings, emphasizing the importance of maintaining spiritual integrity and ethical governance to prevent the fulfillment of the prophecy. Helmuth, maintaining his stance, encouraged focus on the empire's present challenges, dismissing the prophecy as symbolic rather than literal. However, the persistence of the prophecy in public consciousness kept the possibility of its fulfillment alive, influencing the actions and motivations of different factions within the empire. The keepers of tradition, leveraging the prophecy's ominous nature, intensified their efforts to challenge Helmuth's rule, portraying it as a necessary step to avert the prophesied disaster. The intertwining of ancient prophecy with contemporary politics added a layer of complexity to the empire's dynamics, where faith, destiny, and ambition converged in the struggle for power and survival. Amidst the growing unease surrounding the prophecy, a series of inexplicable events began to unfold across the empire. Natural disasters such as earthquakes, floods, and unprecedented storms struck various regions, causing widespread devastation and loss. These calamities were perceived by many as signs of impending doom, reinforcing the fear surrounding the prophecy of the beast. The prophet of light interpreted these events as divine warnings, urging the citizens to adhere strictly to spiritual and ethical principles to avert further disaster. He called for increased devotion, charitable acts, and a return to the core values that had initially unified the empire. Helmuth, grappling with the negative public sentiment, responded by mobilizing the empire's resources to aid those affected by the disasters. His efforts to provide relief and rebuild infrastructure were lauded. Yet skepticism persisted among those who saw a correlation between the calamities and the prophecy. The keepers of tradition exploited the situation to further their cause, arguing that Helmuth's leadership was responsible for provoking the wrath of the heavens. They organized rallies and demonstrations, blaming the emperor for the empire's misfortunes and advocating for a return to traditional governance. The dual narratives of divine intervention and political blame created a volatile environment, where the empire's unity was tested by both external disasters and internal strife. The balance between responding to immediate crises and addressing the underlying fears shaped the empire's resilience. As Helmuth and the prophets sought to guide their people through tumultuous times, the recurring natural disasters took a toll on the empire's infrastructure and morale. Cities were battered by relentless storms and quakes, testing the resilience of the populace and the effectiveness of Helmuth's leadership. The Great Library, a symbol of the empire's enlightenment, suffered significant damage, with precious texts lost to the chaos. The prophet of light intensified his sermons, urging the citizens to find strength in their faith and community. He emphasized the importance of unity and moral integrity in overcoming adversity, reinforcing the spiritual foundation of the empire. Helmuth, determined to restore stability, launched extensive reconstruction projects, leveraging the empire's resources to rebuild damaged areas and fortify defenses against future calamities. His efforts were met with mixed reactions. While many appreciated his dedication and leadership, others remained skeptical of the prophetic interpretations and the true nature of the disasters. The keepers of tradition seized the opportunity to deepen their influence, presenting the calamities as evidence of Helmuth's failings and the empire's drift from traditional values. They organized grassroots movements and community gatherings, advocating for a return to the old ways as a means to restore balance and avert further disasters. The interplay between Helmuth's pragmatic approach and the keeper's traditionalist rhetoric created a complex dynamic, where the empire's path forward was continually shaped by the forces of progress, tradition, and the ever-present shadow of prophecy. Amidst the turmoil and reconstruction, whispers of a hidden agenda within the empire's leadership began to surface. Rumors suggested that Helmuth and the Prophet of Light were orchestrating events to fulfill the prophecy of the beast, positioning themselves as the ultimate authority and spiritual leaders of the empire. These theories gained traction among the disillusioned and the keepers of tradition, who believed that Helmuth's relentless pursuit of unity and progress was a guise for consolidating power and paving the way for a tyrannical regime. The Prophet of Light's growing influence and his alignment with Helmuth's policies fueled suspicions that their alliance was more than a partnership for the empire's betterment. The keepers capitalized on these rumors, using them to rally their followers and undermine the trust between the citizens and the leadership. They presented themselves as the true guardians of Babylonian heritage, advocating for a return to the empire's traditional values as a safeguard against the perceived encroachment of divine manipulation. The spread of these conspiracy theories created a rift within the society, with factions increasingly polarized by their beliefs and allegiances. Helmoth and the Prophet, faced with the challenge of addressing the growing dissent, intensified their efforts to demonstrate their genuine commitment to the empire's prosperity and spiritual well-being. The battle for the soul of the empire became not just a struggle between progress and tradition, but also a war of narratives, where truth and deception intertwined in the pursuit of power and redemption. The empire stood at a crossroads, its future uncertain as the forces of progress and tradition continued to clash. Helmoth and the Prophet of Light, recognizing the depth of the division, called for a grand convocation, a gathering of all factions to discuss the empire's path forward. The convocation was held in the rebuilt Great Library, now a symbol of both knowledge and unity. Leaders from various sectors, including representatives from the keepers of tradition, attended the assembly, bringing with them their perspectives and proposals for the empire's future. The atmosphere was charged with anticipation and apprehension, as the convocation promised to be a turning point in the empire's history. Helmoth addressed the assembly, reiterating his vision of a unified and enlightened Babylon, where tradition and progress coexisted harmoniously. He emphasized the importance of collective effort and mutual respect in overcoming the challenges that had beset the empire. The Prophet of Light echoed these sentiments, highlighting the role of spiritual integrity and ethical governance in sustaining the empire's prosperity. Meanwhile, the keepers of tradition presented their case for preserving Babylonian heritage and decentralizing power to prevent tyranny. They argued that the rapid changes had eroded the core values that had once unified the empire, and that a return to tradition was essential for long-term stability. The convocation became a platform for intense dialogue, where ideas clashed and alliances shifted, reflecting the complex dynamics of the new Babylon. The outcome of this pivotal meeting would determine whether the empire could reconcile its divergent paths or succumb to the forces tearing it apart. The Grand Convocation became a defining moment for the new Babylon, as the leaders navigated through heated debates and passionate pleas for different visions of the empire's future. Helmoth and the Prophet of Light presented a plan that sought to blend tradition with progress, advocating for a governance model that honored Babylonian heritage while embracing innovation and enlightenment. Their proposal included the establishment of cultural councils, dedicated to preserving traditional values and practices, alongside scientific and educational institutions that promoted modern advancements. The keepers of tradition countered with a call for a more radical shift, advocating for the decentralization of power and the restoration of ancient governance structures. They emphasized that the empire's rapid modernization had diluted its cultural essence, and that a return to traditional leadership was necessary to maintain true Babylonian identity. The debate reached its peak as both sides passionately defended their proposals, each believing firmly in their vision for the empire's salvation. The citizens, represented by various delegates, grappled with the contrasting ideas, torn between the allure of progress and the comfort of tradition. The convocation was a microcosm of the empire's larger struggle, where the threads of destiny, faith, and ambition wove together in a complex tapestry. As the night wore on, it became clear that the path forward would require compromise, dialogue, and a willingness to bridge the gaps that had long divided the empire. After hours of deliberation, a consensus began to emerge from the convocation. The leaders agreed to adopt a hybrid governance model that sought to honor both the traditions of the past and the innovations of the present. Cultural councils were established to oversee the preservation of Babylonian heritage, ensuring that traditional practices and values remained integral to the empire's identity. Concurrently, scientific and educational institutions were empowered to drive progress and modernization, fostering an environment where knowledge and innovation could thrive alongside cultural preservation. Helmoth and the Prophet of Light, along with the keepers of tradition, collaborated to draft the new governance framework, blending elements from each faction's proposals. This collaborative effort symbolized a newfound unity, where diverse perspectives were integrated into a cohesive plan for the empire's future. The citizens responded with cautious optimism, hopeful that the hybrid model would provide a balanced approach to governance that respected their heritage while embracing necessary advancements. The Great Library became the center of this new era, serving as both a repository of ancient wisdom and a hub for contemporary scholarship. The Convocation's resolution marked a turning point, demonstrating the empire's ability to navigate its internal divisions and forge a path towards sustainable harmony. The balance between tradition and progress, once a source of conflict, now became the cornerstone of the new Babylon's enduring strength and resilience. With the new governance model in place, the empire embarked on a journey of renewal and consolidation. The cultural councils actively worked to document and preserve ancient traditions, integrating them into the fabric of daily life. Festivals celebrating Babylonian heritage were revitalized, blending age-old rituals with contemporary expressions, creating a rich tapestry of cultural continuity. Meanwhile, the scientific and educational institutions flourished, driving advancements in technology, medicine, and the arts. The Great Library expanded its role, becoming a beacon of knowledge that attracted scholars from across the region and beyond. Helmuth and the Prophet of Light continued to lead with wisdom and vision, their partnership symbolizing the harmonious balance between tradition and progress. The citizens, witnessing the positive changes, grew more confident in the empire's direction, embracing the hybrid model as a means to secure a prosperous and enlightened future. The keepers of tradition, though once a source of dissent, found a place within the new framework, contributing to the preservation of heritage while adapting to the evolving landscape. The empire's resilience was tested through continued challenges, but the foundation of unity and balanced governance provided a sturdy framework to navigate adversity. The legacy of the Convocation endured, serving as a testament to the power of dialogue, compromise, and the enduring strength of a unified yet diverse society. The New Babylon emerged as a model of balanced governance and cultural harmony, its legacy shaped by the trials and triumphs of its past. The empire thrived, its cities vibrant centers of knowledge, culture, and innovation. The Great Library stood as a testament to the enduring power of unity, housing the collective wisdom of generations and serving as a symbol of the empire's enlightened path. Helmuth and the Prophet of Light, revered as visionary leaders, continued to guide the empire with foresight and compassion, their partnership embodying the harmonious blend of tradition and progress. The citizens, now deeply invested in the hybrid model, embraced their roles as stewards of both heritage and advancement, ensuring that the empire's foundation remained strong and adaptable. The keepers of tradition, integrated into the governance structure, played a crucial role in preserving the empire's cultural identity while contributing to its ongoing development. The balance achieved through dialogue, compromise, and mutual respect fostered a resilient and dynamic society, capable of navigating future challenges with grace and wisdom. As the empire looked towards the horizon, the lessons learned from its tumultuous history guided its steps, ensuring that the spirit of unity and enlightenment would continue to illuminate the path forward. The story of the New Babylon became a beacon of hope and inspiration, a testament to the enduring strength of a society that honors its past while embracing the promise of the future. And there you have it, the rise, fall, and renewal of an empire that echoes through history. What do you think about Nebuchadnezzar's journey from pride to humility, and Helmuth's vision for a new Babylon? Share your take in the comments. We'd love to hear your perspective. If you found this story as riveting as we did, hit the like button, subscribe for more deep dives into the past, and share this video with someone who loves epic tales of transformation. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring history's hidden treasures.